Welcome. Now you've chosen to take the beginner adventure and choose your own adventure. Great. That means you've started a Facebook fan page in the past, and you have some working knowledge of a fan page, you've done maybe some boost posts, you clicked around a little bit, and you've at least spent a little bit of money on Facebook ads, like you at least know how to log into your account. It's really about all you need to know. So beginner, pay close attention to steps number 1 through 3. So let's make this fun and easy. We've got a lot of stuff to cover today, so let's make it really easy. So meet Bob and Jane. Now, Bob and Jane own a company called Launchers. It's a brick and mortar business, and Launchers sells model rockets. All right, so meet Brian. Brian's for the beginner. Now look, Bob and Jane can either come back and either they can do this themselves. If you're a business owner, you can absolutely do this on your own. Or you may hire a beginner like Brian to walk you through the entire process. Now, please keep in mind, these trainings are set up to be really easy. So if you're a business owner with 0 employees or under 5 employees, this can be something that you can do on your own in just a couple of minutes a day. But if you would like to outsource it, you can do the same thing as well too. We're going to make it really easy so either you or your team members can watch this and learn something from the training. So let's cover some basic foundations that we need to talk about the scale method with Launchers. You see, we have something called 4 keystones. And a keystone, just to remind everybody, is something that holds everything together. So this is very important. We have 4 keystones for the scale method. Now the 4 keystones are this. 1, you got to have a product, service, message, or idea that you can monetize online. Also, you want to have the perfect customer/avatar. We'll get in that training in just a moment. Now, once you have those 2 things in place, you start with the 12-step scale method, step by step in building it. During the entire 12-step process, everything that you're going to do has to have proof. You're going to have numbers and results. All right, your product, service, message, and idea. Ideally, you want to offer products and services that will produce you at least $100 within the first 30 days. And ideally, multiple products. But for example, here, Launchers has a starter kit for $100. That's perfect. That's something great that they can at least get started with. All right, self-assessment. I'm going to ask you some self-assessment questions during this training. I want you to write them down really for your own good and kind of take a look at what your answers are and how you can improve to move forward. So how many offers are you making in the first 30 days of initial customer engagement? Do you have any offers if someone likes your page, watches YouTube videos, visits your website? Do you offer at least one thing in the first 30 days? 2 to 4 offers, 5+ offers? Ideally, you want to be in that 2 to 4 offer spot. We'll cover that more in more advanced trainings, but you should be offering people multiple offers in the first 30 days. Because remember, just because they said no to one thing doesn't mean they're going to say no forever. Now, these 12 steps are very predictable, but they're built for a specific reason. Don't skip any of these steps. Now, as you're going through the training, maybe the first 3 steps are something you need to work on. It may take you a week or 30 days, or it could take you a while to implement. Just work step by step and don't skip any of the steps whatsoever. Now, here's a fair warning for everything. Please don't mess this up. This will actually torpedo your results and send them in the wrong direction, even causing accounts to be shut down on these major ad networks. Now, you want to lead with great content. You see, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Twitter, they don't really care about your money, and they don't really care about your business model. What they care about is when someone clicks on an ad, is it relevant to that person? Once someone clicks on that ad and they go to that website, does that help answer their question? Is there information there to inform the visitor of what to do next? Is it relevant information? Or do people land on the website and leave? Follow these exact processes with great content and you're going to have some seriously great results. Like for example, for Launchers, they can talk about model rocket tips. They can do easy how-to videos, the latest blogs. I mean, this would be the kind of stuff that you'd be sharing on social media anyway. So it's just a great way to reconnect with your avatar. By the way, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Twitter, they have some of the smartest people on our planet working for the algorithm to make sure that the people that we're targeting are seeing the most relevant content. We're going to harness the power of these amazingly smart people and the artificial intelligence of these major platforms to do most of the hard work for us. But as a beginner, we have to make sure that we're starting out very succinctly with these first 3 steps. We want to clearly define an avatar, identify 4 interest clusters, and then run ads to interest clusters and basically split test. Now, if you're a beginner and you're just starting out, we highly encourage you to leverage Facebook to run your ads. It's an easy platform to get started and it has great targeting. Now, we've created a program called Social Media Ad Genius. It's now in the 2.0 version. We've sold thousands of them around the world, and it shows people step by step what's the strategy to go about on Facebook. Because see, Facebook changes the buttons a lot. So we talk about strategy and then what button to hit. So when the buttons change, as long as you know the strategy, it's not a big deal. The strategy and the mindset's really important. So if you just want to get started, or you've spent a little bit of money on Facebook and you really want to know how to start moving and adjusting your traffic, Social Media Ad Genius is great for you. You want some handheld help? Watch what the scale method can do for you. Now, everything we're going to do is going to be built around a plan and proof. You have to have a plan, know where you're going, and you have to prove if it works or if it doesn't. Or like I say, successfully prove that it didn't work. Important note, key performance indicators. When I say the words KPIs, I want you to be thinking about key performance indicators. Now, knowing your most important KPIs are critical for any successful ad campaign. Like, what are the numbers that mean the most so you can make that dial move? For example, do you know your numbers? Do you know on average what it costs for you to get a like? What about to get an average website click? Or cost per action? How about a cost per lead? Or what about a cost per sale? Do you know those numbers? Well, let's talk about number drivers. There are certain drivers in the numbers, certain things that you focus on. If you focus on the right thing, it'll influence all these other numbers. So imagine driving in a car. You only have 4 or 5 gauges that you're really engaging with. And those gauges will tell you temperatures and speed and tachometer. Well, there's all these other parts in the engine that make it work, but you only have to pay attention to these 5 to know what to diagnose to go on the next steps. So we're going to show you what these KPI drivers are. Now, the first thing you want to remember, everything is going to have to deal with relevance score, and that's with Facebook. And then they have quality scores on Google. We're going to focus on all of the ad platforms to make sure that we have the most relevant content for ads out there. Literally, everything else is second place. So I want you to think about it this way. Imagine that you're driving down the highway of success and we're running some Facebook ads. We're going to focus on relevance score, and we want to make sure we're looking at relevance score through the lens of, I have to look at it through the windshield on how I'm going to do everything else. Relevancy score is critical for long-term growth. So step 1. Clearly identify your avatar. All right, let's make this fun and easy with launchers, and let's call them Recs. So the ideal customer is 14 to 18 years young, which means they can target to that avatar and to parents that have kids that are in that age range. And of course, this kid loves model rockets, and they're located within 7 miles of 78704. Now that'd be just a local brick and mortar for the zip code. Now, step number 2 is we want to identify interest clusters. See, we want to identify 4 different types of what we call affinity marketing. Now, affinity marketing is critical to your growth, so let's go ahead and cover that. See, affinity means similarity, resemblance, likeness, or kinship. It's a relationship and association. Here's the way that the advertising is going to be laid out. See, we want to start building our audience with 3 simple processes. Step 1, we want to focus on the core. So we're going to focus on Recs, the age range, gender, income, geography. Who is that ideal avatar, that ideal perfect customer? Now we're also going to use affinity marketing to reach these related interests. Now these would be hobbies, interests, activities, causes with people that would have similar interests. So let me give you an example of that. So maybe they're targeting Recs, but what about someone who's interested in remote control helicopters? Could they be interested in rockets? What about people interested in remote control cars? The bottom left-hand side, there's a patch for rocketry. So what about advertising to people in the Boy Scouts? Or what about people and their parents who are interested in the NASA fan page? Those would be considered affinity audiences. See, step 3 is once we start targeting the right people, all these major ad platforms, they start to learn our audience's behavior, and they give you more people like that to advertise to. This is really where the scale starts to happen. So beginner tips with the AI. Setting up proper affinity audiences will greatly assist long-term growth. Now focus on relevance scores as you test, and leverage the artificial intelligence for long-term growth. This is really all about content. I'm going to show you that here in just a moment. Now warning. Many marketers, they skip this step. See, what they do is they target a core audience, and then they start creating lookalike audiences, but they really haven't got the diversity of the audiences in there, and it just doesn't work out. Follow these processes step by step. They're proven with millions of dollars in ad spend. Now, what you want to do is you want to take these 4 different affinity groups, right? These 4 different, we also call clusters. And we're going to advertise those 4 different groups with one ad. We're going to see which one responds the best. And we're going to advertise to mobile, desktop, and right-hand side. Please note, As we go through these trainings, if you see me highlight something in blue, like mobile desktop right-hand side, or color something in blue on this organizational flow chart, then you're gonna know we're focusing on content. We're not selling anything, we're not writing sales ads, we're writing ads for content. Let me show you. See, what we wanna do is we wanna run an ad for likes, boost post, and video views. And that's gonna help us with brand awareness, as you can see by their color distinction in blue. Now, Facebook lead ads and website clicks, we're gonna run over to relevant content. Now, this could be how-to videos, this could be the latest blogs, but we wanna run people first to content before we run them to any type of opt-in or sales page. So self-assessment question. Do you currently have a set of control ads for testing? Meaning, do you know what ads will produce you, for example, $1 a click and $4 leads? Do you know what ads will produce you predictable likes? At what cost and what investment? So do you currently have a set of control ads for testing? Do you know your numbers? So here's a key takeaway here. Control numbers. Test and review every 3 days. I don't believe anything that happens in 12 hours, 6 hours, 24 hours. I watch for a good solid 3 days before I start making adjustments. We go over a lot of this in much more detail on the live scale method training. Now, establish predictable KPIs for each action you're bidding for. Ideally, you absolutely should know, how much does it cost for you to get a like? What's the typical relevancy score with your likes? How much does it cost for you to get a click back to your website? What about what's the cost per lead or cost per sale? See, once you understand these control numbers, it's going to be critical to scale because you'll know exactly what dial to turn next. Best practices. Keep track of your control numbers weekly, either in a journal or a spreadsheet. We like to layer those out in a spreadsheet, and I'll even show you an example of that in the live class. What trends are you seeing weekly? Can you keep your control numbers under control? Can you predictably get likes, clicks, leads, and sales? Do you know what those numbers are? Now, if you want to, you can jump to the next level. You can either say, hey, I want to go to intermediate, or maybe you want to jump to genius right away. There's some foundational trainings that we put in all of the trainings that we always want each group to know first. Now, here's the next thing. If you want to, I'm going to show you right now what to do as a beginner to start implementing the next steps if you decide you don't want to jump another level. So if you're a beginner and you want to learn those first 3 steps and make sure that you know all your control numbers, hang on tight for just a moment. I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, well, let's keep on moving right along then. So next steps to implementation for a beginner. First of all, product, service, message, and idea. Perfect customer avatar. The scale method, the 12 steps. We've been exposed to those 3. Now we're going to talk about proof. Everything we're going to do, we're going to test and verify. By the way, we cover a lot of this in detail on the free online training. At any time, click on the left little circle you see down below, and you know how that works. I've mentioned that before. So this is the 12-step process. Each one of the 12 steps is going to have a driver and critical numbers that we're going to want to watch that's going to influence the entire rest of the process. See, for example, step number 4. You see this step right here? What happens is each step has an important KPI. They're an important number to look at so you know what to adjust to next. See, we've documented each step with videos, short videos, longer videos, deep dive videos, step-by-step documents, templates, KPI guidelines. What should your numbers be? We even have big ideas. Now, this is for beginner, intermediate, and genius. So depending what level you're at, you know what exact numbers to shoot for. See, for example, this is a scaling blueprint. Here's where you can see the benchmark for the big ideas on the right: beginner, intermediate, and genius. Here's how to start setting up. You can see down below what percentage of your ad budget should be spent with, where we're talking about here, dark post. See, we even show you what to test for. You want to increase your relevance? Well, split test your image first. Headline second. We show you what to test in what order. Now, if you want to know what's the 5,000 foot view, why are we doing this? Well, here's the strategy and overview we give you in the big ideas. And then we break it down to specific strategies and tactics. We give you key takeaways and resources if you require additional links, or we show you the people that we leverage and use as well. We're also going to give you access to case studies. So you're going to hear other stories that are just like you and how people were able to move forward. And then momentum steps. We always want you moving forward, at least implementing step by step. You can do it. Now, the last self-assessment question for you. Do you have a written out plan on how to scale your ads and business in the next 6 months? It's just a yes or no question. Again, there is no judgment. If you would like to know how to do it, join us on our free online training that we have coming up. And remember, you're going to receive a digital copy of this mind map, steps 1 through 5, when you join us in the upcoming live training. That'll take you from beginner to intermediate. Also, for applying the scale method, we'll pay $1,000. We go over all the details in our live training. I want you to meet the Genius experts. There's some amazing people that are here to assist you. Shecky with one-on-one accountability and consulting, Nick with design, technology, tracking, pixels, and of course, Ashley to be your personal concierge through your entire experience. I can't wait for you to meet him. By the way, I've done a lot of interviews where we connect with the Genius. These are brilliant brilliant people that have helped us build our business. We've used their systems. We've used their processes. We can't recommend them more. And as you continue to grow your business, we want to introduce you to great people that can help in your success. I got a lot of interview with these guys. You're going to absolutely love it. The Genius Society. It's where people like us get together on a weekly basis. We communicate daily. We talk about what we're working on for business, what we're doing for scaling, what we're doing for ads. Oh my goodness, I love our online community. It's one of the best out there, hands down. But you're part of a society where it's people just like us scaling our business. We all have similar goals. I could talk about that all day long. So at this point, just join us for a free online training. Come join us over on the Live Scale Method. I promise you're absolutely gonna love it. Start to implement what you've learned here. Get deep dive information. And you wanna show me your ads? Do you wanna send me in a question that I'm gonna answer live? Do you want me to take a look at your sales funnel? Let's do it. Let's do it together. We have group support here for you. So at this point, you have two choices. Either go ahead and jump in live to our free online upcoming training, or you can go ahead and select your own adventure. If you want to learn a little bit more about the intermediate level, you are welcome to do that. If you want to learn a little bit more about the genius level, click over on that as well too. All right, everybody. Well, I got to get going here because I got to run over to the next training. I look forward to seeing you either on the next training video or on our next Live Scale Method training. Thanks, everybody. Here's a link to go right to the Live Scale Method training.